Known as the hometown boy and Buster to his grandmother, Seattle's most significant musical icon, Jimi Hendrix, was born Johnny Allen Hendrix on the 27th of November, 1942, arriving into the world in a family already strained by absence and instability. His father, Al Hendrix, was often away due to military service in World War II, and after that, because survival demanded it, working countless hours as a gardener and day laborer to make ends meet. His mother, Lucille, loved him deeply but battled alcoholism, and their home shifted constantly both geographically and emotionally. There was no early prophecy of greatness, only a sensitive child learning how to merely survive through the chaos of the world. As a child, Jimmy obsessed with space aliens and science fiction stories, even getting nicknamed Buster after Flash Gordon's Buster Crabbe, doodling spaceships in class, and later being deeply influenced by books like Night of Light and Earth Abides. That is, until he picked up his first real guitar around age 15, where a new obsession gave him the keys to live life on his terms. The problem was that he was left-handed. Left-handed guitars were hard to find and costly in the 1960s. So what did the boy genius do? He flipped the guitars upside down and restrung them for his left-handed grip. He then reversed the order of the strings so the lowest remained on top, allowing him to use standard chord fingerings. This creativity allowed Hendrix even more musical ingenuity and success, competing against a world of new blues and rock and roll guitar players of the 1950s and 1960s. Because the guitar was flipped, the bridge pickup was slanted in the opposite direction. This caused the low strings to sound brighter and the high strings to sound mellower, contributing to his signature inverted tone. The reversed headstock changed the length of the strings between the nut and the tuning pegs. The high strings became shorter, making them easier to bend, a hallmark of his playing style. Furthermore, flipping a right-handed Stratocaster placed the volume and tone knobs, as well as the whammy bar, at the top of the guitar. This allowed Hendrix to manipulate them easily with his forearm or fingers while playing. Shortly after picking up his first guitar, his mother Lucille died in 1958. That loss settled into him quietly, and the guitar stopped being a hobby. It became a place to put grief when there were no words. Hendrix moved through early adulthood like someone never quite where he belonged. At the age of 18, he enlisted in the United States Army in 1961, not out of patriotism, but because it offered structure. Instead, it sharpened his sense of displacement. He practiced guitar constantly, clashed with military superiors, and was discharged within a year. Yet even there, something lasting formed, a friendship with bassist Billy Cox, one of the few people who truly understood him. The years that followed were restless. Having never learned how to read music, he relied instead on feel, repetition, and his deep connection with blues and rock records. Hendrix became a sideman, playing behind stars like Little Richard as well as Ike and Tina Turner. He was technically brilliant, but his playing spilled beyond what these acts allowed. He wanted space. He wanted volume. He wanted to bend sound itself. Again and again, he was told, sometimes gently, sometimes not, that he was doing too much. By the mid-1960s, Hendrix was broke and increasingly frustrated. He slept wherever he could, played wherever he was allowed, and wondered if his ideas were simply too strange to survive in America's music industry. In New York City, at the Cheetah Club, in May 1966, everything changed, when Hendrix's talent was really discovered by music managers that took him to London. There, Hendrix was not restrained. He was unleashed. Within months, the Jimi Hendrix Experience formed, and the shockwaves were immediate. Their first album, considered to be his magnum opus, Are You Experienced, was a revolutionary, genre-defining debut album, a groundbreaking work in psychedelic rock. Celebrated for its explosive guitar work, it did not just introduce a guitarist, it announced a new language. Hendrix played feedback as melody, distortion as emotion. He treated the studio as an instrument and the stage as a laboratory, with songs like Purple Haze, The Wind Cries Mary, Foxy Lady, and Hey Joe. Universal acclaim for his genius was at last achieved. The peak came in August 1969 at Woodstock. Early Monday morning, Hendrix stood before a large crowd with his old army buddy Billy Cox by his side and reimagined the Star-Spangled Banner. It was not a protest speech or a patriotic anthem. It was chaos, beauty, violence, and hope colliding in sound. For a few minutes, Hendrix seemed to carry the emotional weight of an era on his guitar strings. That moment made him immortal and unbearably visible. He worked obsessively, searching for new sounds, new bands, new directions. Friends noticed he slept little and gave too much of himself. Fame had amplified his voice but narrowed his freedom. Success did not bring peace. Over the next year, Hendrix was exhausted, contractually trapped, and emotionally raw. Though celebrated as a revolutionary, he often felt misunderstood, even isolated. He struggled with expectations that no human being could meet, especially one as introverted and sensitive as he was. Tours, albums, drug addiction, discrimination, and fans seeking his attention was taking a toll. On the 18th of September 1970, in London, Jimi Hendrix died at 27 from asphyxiation following barbiturate intoxication. There was no final statement, no grand farewell, just shock. Now a part of the curse of the 27 Club of famous musicians dying at the age of 27, often linked to substance abuse, mental health struggles, and the pressures of fame, including names like Robert Johnson, Janis Joplin, Jim Morrison, Kurt Cobain, Amy Winehouse, gone far too soon, but their impact transcending time. Jimi Hendrix lived only 4 years in the public spotlight, yet he permanently altered music's landscape. He expanded what the electric guitar could express, broke racial barriers in rock, and inspired generations of artists across genres. But his legacy is not just technical brilliance. It is the story of someone who heard more than others, felt more than most, and paid a heavy price for translating that inner world into sound. Hendrix did not seek to be a symbol. He sought freedom, sonic, emotional, and human. And though his life ended abruptly, the echo of what he discovered still reverberates, reminding us that sometimes the most transformative voices are also the most fragile.